You too. You and you. Let's go.
Blowing this money, we partying. Pick it up. Too many bottles, we bodying. It ain't enough. Give me the check, I give them the plastic. Don't gotta flex, I know what you asking. You need a lift, you look like you crashing. Here it come, what's in my cup? Only top shelf. Drink that, what's in my leaf? Gon' stake this whole place out. Big facts, I do what I want, I do what it does. I'm moving around, I'm getting the love. It's me that you want, my schedule is plugged. But I'm here now. All I really wanna know, when we leaving, all I really need to know is when we leaving. All I really wanna know, when we leaving. All I really need to know is when we leaving.
Oh, you tell me stories, you tuck me in, and the second you leave, I call you right back to check for monsters in my streets. Yeah, high school was hard, you'd fight with my mom, I'd fall asleep to the screaming, sound machine always speaking, left emotional scars. Now I'm 21, a soul of 50 years. And now that you are gone, I'm doing things that I shouldn't know from. I'm doing things that I shouldn't do. At 21, a soul of 50 years. And now that you are gone, I'm doing things that I shouldn't know from. I'm doing things that I shouldn't do. At 21. At 21. I'm doing things that I shouldn't do. At 21. I'm just a kid. Oh, I'm doing things I shouldn't know from. Yeah, doing things I shouldn't know. At 21. Yeah, I play you my favorite songs on a car ride while you list me all the people that left you in your life. Oh, oh, and you smoke on your chair while I was trying to sleep. I smell the smoke in the air, but that was normal for me. I didn't know, I didn't know, but now I'm 21, a soul of 50 years, and now that you are gone, I'm doing things that I shouldn't know from, I'm doing things that I shouldn't do. At 21, feels like I'm 50 years. And now that you are gone, I'm doing things that I shouldn't go for. I'm doing things that I shouldn't do. At 21. Oh, at 21. Yeah, at 21. Oh, just a kid. Oh, I'm doing things I shouldn't know from. Doing things I shouldn't know. At 21. At 21. At 21. Whoa. I'm 21.
Let me stay with you. Even else, can you? Let me stay with you. Even asking you just one night. I don't know how your life, but tell me 'cause we still have time. I can't stop looking at you, but do you feel the same, don't you? I think of you every moment. I think of you every moment. I can't stop looking at you, but do you feel the same, don't you? I think of you every moment. There's nobody else. There's nobody else. There's nobody else.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. And I'm so sorry, Robert Logan, for speaking. It's for coming on super, super randomly. I'm so sorry about that, Robert. On board right now with the number 83, Robert Logan for Dragon Racing. Unfortunately, taking a little bit of a tumble out of turn, I believe that's 18, towards the end of Blanchimont there. But I apologize, I got a little sidetracked. Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Christian Julian. I also go by Koju here at Odyssey Racing League, and on behalf of Odyssey Racing League as well, I would like to present you the start of Season 15 here at Odyssey Racing League GT Europe Division. So we actually have a couple of different divisions here at Odyssey Racing League. We have a GT Americas division and a GT Europe division. Both divisions are categorized in rookies, amateurs, and pros. So the normal bronze, silver, and gold, we have them as rookies, amateurs, and pros. On our screen right now, Robert Logan, the number 83 Honda. You can see on the left side of our screen, it has a red background number plate, which means that Robert is one of the rookies of this race. So a red number back plate means that they are a rookie. A silver number back plate means that they are a amateur driver, and a white numbered back plate means that they are a pro driver, or gold and above here at Odyssey Racing League. Now this is round 1 here at Odyssey Racing League, Season 15. We do have a couple of rounds, I believe 6 rounds total, and let's actually talk a little bit about those right now during qualifying. So here for Season 15, Round 1, we do have Spa Francorchamps. It's going to be a 1-hour race. Next week, we'll be heading over to New York for Watkins Glen for the 45-minute race there at Round 2. Then we'll be taking a trip down to South Africa for Kailami for Round 3. Then moving over to Bathurst for Round 4. Moving back over to Europe for Round 5 for Barcelona. That's going to be a 1-hour race as well, just like the first round here today will be. And then rounding off Season 15, we'll be moving on over to the Red Bull Ring. Nice little finale there. It's going to be very exciting. I hope to see you all there. But as well, in case you feel like the time zone difference is a little bit strange to you, we do have, as I said, Americas and GT Europe going on. So GT Americas, we run those every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. GT Europe will be Sundays at 8 p.m. CEST. And on Tuesdays, we actually run a after-hours league. We call this after hours, but this is mostly catered to the Pacific Standard Time. So it'll be Tuesdays, 9 p.m. PST, and that is also one of our only multi-class leagues where we do Modern GT3 and Legacy GT3s. But enough about future things. Let's talk about what's going on right now on the track. So a couple of times already coming in. James Seal at the top for the rookies right now, 218.755. The Ferrari 296 GT3 is pretty strong here on this track of Spa, if I recall correctly. The DSDF Ferrari specifically in P1 right now. With a pretty quick time. Not too far off behind him in the number 303 Porsche is Victoras. I'm gonna try to pronounce your name, friend. Let me know if I get it wrong. Podus Castis. Kaitis. Please whisper me in the chat how bad I am. My American education does not allow me to pronounce words that are intricate and nice. I can only say things like, get out of my way, and my coffee's too hot. I'm just kidding. Craven for president. Craven! Craven, you mean like Craven the Hunter? Or Craven, do we have a Craven on the track right now? Moving over to Sarkany, the number 193 Porsche. We're going to be also going around showing showing the liveries off, as well as our grid walk. We're going to be showing the liveries as much as we can. Facts in the chat. The 218.7 is never an amateur time to drive. That's more of a pro-am time. Yeah, so 218.7 is pretty quick time for qualifying, but that would put you at the top of rookies, if not towards the lower end middle pack of of amateur drivers. Here at Odyssey Racing League, our rookies are actually, not to brag or anything, right? But the rookies that some of the rookies, and by some I mean most of the rookies that we have here are pretty strong rookies. If I were to give them a grade, like let's say if you get an A as a rookie, then you're going to be moving on to silver. This is not how we do it, right? This is not how Odyssey Racing League moves their drivers up and down classes, but just like as like a thought experiment, let's do it. So let's say, for an example, a driver, if you were to give a driver a rating every single race, if they were to get anything above an A, so don't even worry about A minus, A plus, if they were to get an A or above, then they're basically going to be moving on to silver. Most of the rookies here will be getting Bs, if not very strong Bs, at just how much track knowledge and strength that they have. And speed as well, as we were talking about 218.755, as Fax was talking about in the chat. Second place held on to Victoria still, 218.927. So not that far off, about 2/10 of a second. And then in third, P3 right now, provisional third place pole for the rookies is Martin Vasilek, 219.170 for E-Racing Endurance Team. 12 minutes, 15 seconds left in qualifying. It's going to be the rookies out first, and then the Pro-Ams will be lining up momentarily. I believe it's going to be 10 minutes each, so 10 minutes for the rookies and then 10 minutes for the Pro-Am drivers. Yes, Robert, I am very sorry. I gave you commentator's curse right away. But on the bright side, we got it out of the way already. It's done. Everyone can breathe. We can all relax. We won't have to worry about commentator's curse for the rest of the race. In P13, Luke Berthet up on the Delta, now moving up to P11. Gaining a couple of those spots and taking them away from Sebastian and Paul. Sebastian in the number 901 Mercedes AMG. Very interesting sight to see, because over there in GT Americas, I don't believe we have any Mercedes AMG on the track. That might have to change relatively soon. We might have to make something happen of that. Sebastian already electing to finish their official qualifying time. Another Mercedes AMG on the track, Jorans Salvikas, DRS Academy Mercedes AMG, piloted by the Latvian driver. Also finishing off their official qualifying time with another Mercedes right behind them. That's the 478. Jorans able to finish off P8 in qualifying for the rookies. Martin still finishing their qualifying time. Actually, they got disqualified. So that means that their time is officially up, and it is now time for the Pro-Am drivers. You can see them right there on the right side of our screen, lining up already, getting ready to get out of the pits. Let's see if we can grab one of them. Oh, see, we already have a pit stop jam. There's already a jam. Uh-oh, traffic. And there goes traffic. Now the Pro-Am's leaving the stables now in a hurry, trying to get as much of that sweet qualifying time as they can. We weren't able to see this, but James Steele finishing up his qualifying lap. The provisional spot taken away from him by Sarkany. Sarkany 218.170, so was able to get 6/10, excuse me, faster than James. But James up on his Delta, coming around the last turn of the bus stop. Is James able to finish and stay ahead for the rookies crossing the finish line? He is not able to. So that's going to put James in P2. Sarkany able to take that spot away from James. Sarkany P1, James P2, Martin Valasek in P3 for the rookies. That's going to be your provisional poll for the rookies right now. Moving over to the pros and AMs now, on board with Thomas Hudak, the Slovakian driver inside of the German machinery, the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2, I believe. is the correct chassis of this vehicle. If I remember correctly as well, Audi pulling out of GT3 racing, so they're going to be mostly focused on Formula, and I believe if the rumors are true, I don't specifically remember hearing anything about this rumor, but they might be more focused on Formula. I was about to say Ferrari, Formula racing and hypercar racing, which would be a very nice addition. The Audi with the screaming V10 on board, as well as its cousin, the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2. There should be a couple on tracks. We're going to see some of them driving around as well. So the drivers lining up now. They are allowed to slow down a little bit to create some space between them and the driver in front of them. Yeah, come with the drivers needing to pay attention there. A quick fact being told to us by Jorens. Fun fact, identical times for P7 and P8 in the rookies. You are correct, Jorens. You have the exact same time as Matsus. 2:19.467 for the both of you. Are you in the same machinery as well? If you have the same machinery, then that's hilarious. That actually that leads credence more to having this kind of similar, if not the same, driving styles, which is pretty cool. Oh, why are we moving over to the pits, Kramer, dudes? Come on. Moving over to Adam Westland, one of the Baller Squad racing cars here. Number 65 Ferrari is usually joined by their teammates. However, I don't see any of the other Baller Squad racing teammates. We did have a drivers to watch section. Last season, season 14, our winner for the pros, Nathan Smythe Adams, not on track, as well as the P2 winner of the pros last season, Chase Jones. Doesn't look like they are on track for today. Our third place winner as well for pros last season in Quinton Momo, I also don't believe is on track. So that's going to leave the Pro Championship up for grabs for any of the pro drivers here on the track. Unless they're just leaving Spa as their open race, which they're allowed to do. No times yet for the pros and AMs. However, we are going to start seeing some times coming in relatively quick. We do. Gabriel Alsatier, 2:17.272. First one across the line. Did that give him a little bit of an advantage? I believe that did. Moving up a little bit as well, we can see Dario Villanello moving up to P8, starting to split that sea of red that's in there. Bonus Charles as well, number 26 Porsche in provisional pole 3. Bonus Charles, one of the drivers to watch this season, a pretty strong contender. Bonus has been. So we're going to be keeping an eye on Bonus, hopefully seeing him atop the podium this season, which would be very amazing and very, very welcome here at Odyssey Racing League. Unfortunately, though, that second place spot for the Pro-Ams taken away from Bonus Charles by Tim Seb. Tim Seb, 2:18.055. Bonus Charles, 2:18.595. More drivers coming in and staking their claim for the podium positions. Regis Corcel, 2:17.522 for the number 18 Ford Mustang. In provisional pole 2 right now. More times are going to be flying in from these drivers who have a pretty strong showing. Moving over to Yuri in the number 15 Ferrari here, the purple and gray Ferrari that we see. Very interesting color choices. Purple also one of my favorite colors, so this will get bonus points for me. I may have been talking a little bit of smack about the Baller Squad Racing drivers. However, Baller Squad Racing still showing a commanding presence here at Odyssey Racing League. P3 for the Baller Squad Racing driver, Adam Westland. Provisional P3 right now. 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in qualifying. I spoke way too soon, and that provisional P3 spot taken away from Adam by Fabian Sodki. Fabian, 217.787, so 0.2 quicker than Adam here. Can Adam find time on the track to take that spot back away from Fabian? Regis, P2, up on the Delta. Enough to take it away from Gabriel. We're going to be keeping an eye on the number 18, who should be crossing the finish line right now. This will be for provisional pole if Regis can stay in front of the Delta. 0.3 seconds up on the Delta. Is he able to stay there? Almost crossing the bus stop and the checkered finish. Is he able to get into P1? He is not, unfortunately. 217.522. Another driver to watch out for, Dean Solomon for Backroad GT Racing. The number 9 Porsche going up El Radion and El Rouge now. Onto the Kimmel Straight, trying to gain as much speed as they can coming into the braking zone. So Jorn, speaking about demotions, it's really hard to get so it's hard to get promoted. It's even harder to get demoted. So you have to do something pretty crazy, or your times have to be super off to be considered not downgraded. What's the demotion? Demoted. There you go. I was gonna say downgraded, but that's not the right word. A lot of pretty quick drivers on the track. Gabriel Alzachir still in P1, 217.045 for him now. Almost super close to the 216s. A couple of drivers not electing to take their qualifying laps. Some maybe just weren't able to get those qualifying laps in. Fabian Sotke moving up a spot again in provisional pole 2, 217.287 for Fabian. Regis moving down now into P3. That's 217.522 for Regis. P4, Tim Flagg in the 910 Audi right behind the Backroad GT Racing on our screen there. That is the end of official qualifying team. Emery Sunmez also squeezing in to the top 5 there. Emery, another Baller Squad Racing teammate, the Turkish driver here in P5 now, 217.825. And I believe that is still a valid lap, so they are allowed to finish their valid lap if they were on a valid lap before the official qualifying time ended. Gabriel Alzachir up almost half a second coming into the campus now. Let's see if Gabriel can keep it up. We do see the number 969 off the track there, and that's going to be the end of their official qualifying time. The number 969 belongs to, I believe, Lucas Kupka. Lucas not able to finish an official qualifying time, so they're going to be starting towards the back of the grid here. But keeping an eye on Gabriel really quick, who's up half a second, so that's going to be putting him into the 216s with a commanding lead in the front if he's able to keep it in the purple sector of the Delta, up half a second. Is he able to keep it up and on the up and up? He is. 2:16.640 for Gabriel Ostachier. So that's going to put him in commanding P1 for our round 1 spa race here at Odyssey Racing League Season 15. On board with Emery, who's the fastest silver driver right now in P5 overall. P1 for the silvers, Yuri Howling in P8, however P2 for the silvers. And I believe that is Andrea Martire. Yes, that is Andrea. So in the number 316 Ford Mustang. P15 overall on the left side of your tree. However, P3 for the rookies. Or excuse me, for the amateurs. Crossing the finish line, Emery is able to move up, and he is taking that P4 spot away from Fabian. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. A rookie or an amateur taking a spot away from a pro. Ooh, this is going to be very interesting to see how the promotions are going to be happening earlier this or next or earlier or later on in the season. However, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a quick intermission and our starting grid walk.
You in my sight, I keep all the words you said to me. I get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, now you beg me please. Hey, now I stay away, you were never meant to save me. Now I stay away, I wanna hear you say you're sorry.
Okay, racing fans, we are back with our starting grid walk here for Season 15, Round 1 of Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. In P1, the number 78 Baller Squad Racing Ferrari, driven by Gabriel Ostachier. In P2, the number 910 Audi, driven by Tim Flagg for Schreier Sport PHX. In P3, the number 18 Ford Mustang, driven by Regis Corsell. In P4, the number 296 Ferrari, driven by the Turkish driver Emre Sönmez for Baller Squad Racing. A quick note as well, Emre P1 for the silvers. In P5, Fabian Sodki for Daibon Motorsports, number 375 Ferrari. In P6, Adam Westland, Baller Squad Racing 65 Ferrari. In P7, Tim Seb, number 369 Ferrari, also for Daibon Motorsports. In P8, overall, but P2 for the amateur drivers, Yuri Howling, number 15 Ferrari. In P9, Julian Reef, number 811 Porsche. In P10, Sarkany Christians, 193 Porsche. In P11, Bonus Charles for Mama Africa Motorsports, number 26 light blue Porsche here. Oh, it is a very nice blue Porsche, Charles, I always tell you. Super nice blue. In P12, the number 59 Backroad GT Racing Porsche, driven by Dean Solomon. In P13, Suvada Tamas for Copel team. Number 70, McLaren. Right behind him, Michael Hutchinson. Number 322, Ferrari. English driver driving for Fitted UK Simsport. Right behind him, James Seal, the number 551 Ferrari for DSDF Racing. James, if I remember correctly, I believe last season you were in a Ford Mustang. If I got it wrong, please let me know. But if I remember correctly, I do remember seeing you in a Mustang. I don't know why you moved to Ferrari. Mustang's so much better in my opinion, but you're more than welcome to do whatever you wish. In P16, speaking about the Ford Mustang, Andrea Martri, number 316 Ford Mustang for Extreme Sim Racing. In P17, Martin Balasek for E-Racing Endurance Team, the number 190 McLaren. In P18, Victoras Pudu. All right, I'm going to try it out. Pudkuskas, number 303 Porsche. P18. P19, Andy Purcell, number 422 Ferrari. P19. P20, the number 478 AMG GT3, driven by Jaco Hankavori. In P21, Drew Burovkowski. There's the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2 for Fuchsia Competition Esports. Right behind him, Dario Villanerio for SRT, number 69 Ferrari. Right in front of the number 185 Lamborghini in the 23rd spot here, Neil Baravotes, Canadian driver in the Lamborghini here. In P24, Matsa Skorsky, 485 BMW, driven by the Polish driver. P25, right behind them, the number 728 Mercedes AMG GT3, piloted by the Latvian driver Jorans Salvikas for DRS Academy. If I also get any of your flags or your names wrong, please don't be afraid to DM me in the Discord and let me know how bad my pronunciation is. P26, Robert Logan, the number 83 Honda. I believe the only Honda on track. I'll keep an eye on that, but I believe the only Honda NSX on track, Robert Logan, P26. Torsten Newman, right behind him in the Porsche. This is a lime, it's not a lime green, that's more of like a ripe lime green and a light blue Porsche with a nice yellow stripe through the middle of it, which is... I was questioning it, but now I like it. I like it, Torsten. That's a good one. The number 28 in P28, the number 889 light blue Porsche, driven by Cohen Krager. P29, Luke Berthet for Atmos Racing, the number 710 McLaren here. Sebastian Scheyer, P30, the number 901 Mercedes AMG. P31, Barry Dunn, 837 Ferrari. P32, Thomas Hudak. Excuse me, Tomas. It's Tomas Hudak. In P33, the number 933 Ferrari, driven by Paul Dickinson for Poly D Sports. Marcel Ardent, right behind them in the 750 McLaren. We're going through Campus and Stravelo right now, so let's see if we can get through this really quick. Tali Dursik, number 829 Ferrari. In P35, in P36, Jonathan Forward, the 927 Ferrari. In P37, Marcus Craven. There's Craven, so go Craven for Fitted UK Simsport. In P38, Emre Ozduru, the Turkish driver, 343 McLaren in P38. In P39, Alanis Karis, the number 800 Audi. In P40, Lorenzo Etrovic Funsi, number 928 Slovakian driver in P40. P41, Mike Burkhoff. P42, Raul Kauhan. P43, Lucas Kupka. And P44, last but not least on the grid, that is Hayden Sweet, along with Mr. Terry Dunn, Kevin Drabsky, and Roy Reiner starting from the pits. Let's move back up to the start because we are getting ready, going side by side, coming through the checkered line there on the ground. However, the race does not start until we get into the downhill section right after La Source, which is turn 1. You see Gabriel slowing down a little bit, however, he might think because the race starts here. We do see the red lights there. That is 5 red lights. We are waiting for the green lights and the green flag to start to signal the start of season 15 round 1 here at Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. We see them going side by side now, getting a little bit of a nice perch. The Ford Mustang there of Regis is trying to get a nice look on the inside. However, we're going to see if he is able to get the better jump compared to Gabriel or Tim. Coming down La Source now side by side. We see them waiting for the green flag. Is it going to come? Waiting patiently for the green flag side by side. And that's a green, 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 and a go for season 15 round 1 here at Odyssey Racing League. Coming into El Rouge now, almost side by side for a couple drivers. Almost 3 wide back there in the back. Couple of drivers being pushed off, coming onto Radion. However, we are seeing a pretty nice, and I sit corrected. We do see a big, big crash. That's a big one coming up La Source, or coming up Radion now. We do have a couple of cars off the track. That is a small, about a handful of drivers there. The rest of them getting out pretty much unscathed. We do see a big section of the track covered in yellow flags, and I do believe that is a red flag handed out, as we do see the drivers, and a huge more conundrum there on the side. I do believe the drivers should know that for a red flag, it is a full course yellow, and the drivers will need to return to the pits. So we do see the drivers here not driving full speed, however, going through. It does look like they are continuing racing. However, we'll see if the red flag was shown. No bar, no red flag. It does look like Dean Solomon in provisional pole right now, followed by Bonus Charles. We're going to see if they return to the pits. If they don't, then there was no red flag shown. No, the race continues. So Dean Solomon in provisional pole. Bonus Charles right behind them. Julian Reef in P3, followed by Victor S in P4. A couple of drivers electing to go into the pit stop. So there is a red flag, so these drivers should not be driving. Yep, so the drivers are returning to the pits. It is a red flag situation here for round 1, Season 15 Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. We'll be right back with a quick intermission, and we'll be right back with the starting race again. And we are back, racing fans. We just came out of a red flag for the start, or the grand start of season 15, round 1, Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. Red flag on lap 1, turns 4 and 5 coming up coming up Eau Rouge. There was a little bit of a bumping and bruising going on. A little bit too much bumping and bruising going on, unfortunately. So what that does is that it's going to unfortunately put the race in a red flag. All the drivers had to return to the pits, and penalties, if any, were handed out accordingly. We're going to get a nice little parade lap out of the rest of the cars now, as they go around, warm up their tires, warm up their brakes, and get ready for the 1 hour sprint race here at Odyssey Racing League Season 15, Round 1. I believe there was only one car given a penalty for the red flag incident. Let's actually look into that specifically. Yeah, it only looks like one car seems to have been given a penalty. James Seal. Interesting. Do we have a replay? No, unfortunately, we do not have a replay on my end. Oh, no. Okay. Well, the stewards have way more power than I do when it comes to replay and the ability to look into incidents. So I'm going to wholeheartedly believe in the stewards and their decision. But we're going to be keeping an eye on all these drivers here. As well, in the chat, don't be afraid to let me know your favorite drivers, your favorite teams. Love to give them more screen time, show off their liveries. If you hear or see any audio issues, unfortunately we do have an issue there for Mr. Westland. Adam Westland may have unfortunately had to retire due to connection issues, but we hope to see them back soon. Yeah, interestingly enough, all right, here we go, side by side, 2 by 2, coming into the bus stop now. The drivers are going to be getting ready to put on their A game and get to racing here at Odyssey Racing League Season 15, Round 1. Crossing the checkered finish line there, the drivers are going to start mentally preparing themselves on board right now with Sarkany Christians. However, we are going to be moving throughout the grid as much as we can. Let's see if we can find you the best angle here, racing fans. Coming through the start, coming down La Source now. All the drivers have to do is wait for that green light and that green flag to fly, and then they can start running and racing through the track. Coming down now, single file. A decent sized gap between the Audi there and the Ferrari behind him. However, that is the green flag, and that is go, go, go here for the restart of round 1, season 15 Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. Pretty respectful between the lead drivers there. Moving down now, we do see a couple drivers go off the track already. That looks like 2 Porsches hitting against the wall. That's the Porsches of Dean Solomon and Bonus Charles. However, the rest of the drivers looking relatively unscathed, coming up through Radion and now into the start-finish. This is the Camel Straight, Camel Straight. Couple cars going 3 wide there, specifically in the back with the Honda. When the rest of the drivers going 2 wide, everyone looks relatively clean coming through here. Doesn't look like any major incidents. Robert Logan moving up a couple spots and then losing it. So I may have spoken way too soon. Robert Logan, unfortunately, losing all the spots that they were gaining there. Moving back up, Fabian right on the back bumper of Tim. Tim in the Audi in front. There was a huge gap between Tim Flake and the rest of the drivers behind him. Interestingly enough, that gap did not matter now because the number 375 Ferrari is right on the back bumper. Moving back down though, Michael Hutchison right on the back bumper of Andrea, but Michael also having to defend against James, who's on the inside now coming into turn 13. James, the pretty commanding diving move, taking that, and some contact between them. However, James electing to give that spot back after having bumped the number 332 Ferrari, that white one in front of him. Moving on down, Neil Bareboats defending against the Porsche on his inside on some back bumper action happening to the AMG behind him, taking a little bit too much into that back bumper. Cohen trying to attack Neil. However, Neil able to slip away because it did look like Cohen had an unfortunate exit there. However, the cars behind them are not going to be giving Cohen any breathing room. The P20 Porsche right here on our screen is going to have to defend for their life against the 3 drivers coming up behind him. And we did see a driver go off the track there into the wall. That's the number 901. Unfortunately, who is the 901? The 901 is being driven by Sebastian Schreier. So unfortunately, Sebastian takes a little tumble into the left side there, coming into the bus stop, hits the wall, and that's going to be causing a significant amount of damage for the number 901 there. Where is the 901? Yeah, so the 901 unfortunately hitting that wall there. Moving up now, everyone's still fanning out, trying to gain as many positions as they can. Terry Dunn, the number 80 BMW MP25, moving up a couple spots right behind the back bumper of Thomas in the Audi in front of him. We do see AMG leaving the pits, slotting in very nicely to the cars in front. So no penalties being handed out as of now. Only the 15-second time penalty being handed out to the number 551 Ferrari in P12 right now, James Seal. Speaking of James less than half a second behind Michael, the number 322 in front of him. However, that 15-second time penalty is going to be detrimental to James's race here. Keep an eye on the standings, making sure we can find any of the action coming your way. We do see some right now here in Lucas Kupka. Lucas in the other Honda, fighting it out against Robert Logan in the Honda on Honda action here. Getting a nice little internal view of the inside of that Honda. However, moving over to the top fight for position, or for the fight for the top position here between Gabriel Ozdachir and Regis Corsell. Regis on the back bumper of that Ferrari coming into the bus stop, however, having a little bit of a shaking entrance and exit, is not able to stay up to snuff and up to the bumper of that Ferrari. The Ferrari, I believe, a relatively strong car here at Spa, as we can see. Even it looked like excuse me, I was about to say the Lamborghini. This is a Ford Mustang. Even the Ford looked like it was having a little bit of an issue keeping up with it on the straight here. So maybe the BOP was doing it some really good action. Moving over to Jorens Salvikas, who was side by side with Neil Baravotes there. Neil Baravotes and Jorans going side by side, coming up. However, a tiny little bump by the Lamborghinis, pushing the AMG to the side. That may have been a racing incident. I don't think there was any malicious intent there by the Lamborghini. However, funny enough, the BMW of Matsis sneaking on through right behind him, taking away the spot again from Jorans. So Jorans moving down 2 spots, Neo moving up 1, and Mastis also moving up 1, but also moving up the tree. Tim Seb right on the back bumper of Yuri Howling, who is back, who is doing his go-go extendo arm on the back of Fabian. But as soon as I started saying that, a little bit more distance has been created between Fabian and Yuri. There are some time penalties being handed out now for the number 451. And the number 889. You can see those time penalties being handed out there on the right side of our screen, right and to the bottom. Roy Reiner are the 3rd place winner of the Rookie Series for GT Europe last season, Season 14. Right now in P41, the number 111 Lamborghini had to do a start from pits. However, they are going to be fighting their way up the field, trying to gain as many positions as they can, hopefully without pushing anyone off track there. Don't forget, there is also a poll in the chat, in the YouTube chat. The poll is, do you think Spa-Francorchamps, the track here, is overrated? What I mean by overrated is people regard it too highly, or maybe it's overused too much. Speaking of overused, that Ferrari, unfortunately, taking a little bit too much of the sidetrack there and hitting the side of the wall, maybe coming up Radeon, they weren't able to stay in control and having a little bit of a tumble there. That was the Ferrari of Tim Seb. So unfortunately, Tim moving down spots now into P21 for Tim Seb. Michael Hutchinson on the back bumper of James. Can Michael make any moves happen coming out of No Name and in to Puhan? Can he make anything happen? On the back bumper, does he make a move on the inside? He does, and he elects to stay on the racing line right behind the other Ferrari. Coming into turns 13 and 14 of Campus, number P6 Porsche. Julian Reeve for El Zapfo. Trying to gain up speed, trying to get that top speed up, trying to catch up to that Ferrari in front of him. Maybe gets a really good run here coming out, or coming into Blanchimont. Is a braking move happening? No. No move in the braking zone. Relatively respectful driving here from Julian. Little bit of bumping and bruising between Andy Purcell and Dario Vianello here. However, fighting for position, there is going to be some bumping and bruising happening. Both Ferraris coming into the braking zone of La Source, turn 1 here. The number 69 Ferrari and the 449 the 422 Ferrari fighting for position. Moving on over to the number 969 Honda in P28, Lucas Kupka making a move on the outside there, able to take a couple spots away from Robert Logan and Jonathan Forward. Robert Logan with a Ferrari on the inside, having to give that spot up. However, are we going to see a switch back there by Robert Logan? Robert Logan along the outside, hub to hub, wheel to wheel with that Ferrari. So the Ferrari's going to have to give him room. Is he able to stay within the tire? He's not, so he does give up that spot to the Ferrari, who does look like takes a little bit of a tumble coming up El Rouge and might be costing him some top speed there. Moving into the cockpit of Robert Logan. Is Robert Logan able to stay on the draft of the Ferrari in front of him? The Ferrari does make a little move there to break the draft, which is totally legal as long as there's only one move being made. A Ferrari diving on the inside of Robert Logan, which we weren't able to see. However, the Ferrari making it stick. That's the Ferrari of Marcus Craven, number 196 in P30 now, taking that spot away from Robert Logan, who looked like he had to give that space up, because if not, there was going to be a big accident there, possibly. Going deep now, the 196, giving that spot back to Robert Logan, who held in there and now takes back that P30 spot. Oh, that's super unfortunate. A really nice move made into the braking zone by number 196 coming into turn 7 of Lacombe's, but just there on turn 10, just goes too deep. Either brakes too late or just thinks it might be just coming in a little bit too quick. Yeah, I do say that. It's my Spanish coming out, Richard. So it's I'm getting called out now. You're seeing it here, folks. Yeah, so unfortunately, Richard, sometimes it does come out as El Rouge or El Rouge because of my Spanish. Roy Reiner in the screaming V10 of the Lamborghini, trying to catch up to the AMG right in front of him. That's the AMG of Sebastian Schreier. So many battles going on at once. We're going to try to keep an eye on as many of them and bring them as many to you as possible into the braking zone there. Roy Reiner almost hitting the back bumper of that AMG, trying to suck in as many fumes as possible, seeing if he can increase his top speed. However, relatively clean from both drivers. Side by side, they were coming into turn 1. Another Ferrari making a move on the inside of Robert Logan there in the Honda. Robert giving up that position, keeping it clean. Moving over to the front of the pack here, Julian Reif in P6, Yuri Howling P5, the Ferrari in front of him. However, the Ferrari, also known as a lawnmower, apparently putting half of his car into the grass there. That's going to be slowing down your car a whole lot. Marcel on the inside. Great move there, number 750 McLaren. Adam Westland in front of him, having to defend for their life. Oh, unfortunately, Emery, number 296, taking a little bit of a bump there coming out of Puhan. You can see a little bit of cuts and scrapes there on the side of his Ferrari. However, it does look like 'tis but a scratch, and he's not out yet. Barry Dunn on the back of that Audi. Thomas having to defend for his life. That's Thomas Hudak in the Audi. Barry Dunn in the Ferrari behind him, coming out of Blanchimont. Now into turn 18. Adam Westland able to take that position away from Terry Dunn. But both cars coming in a little bit of contact there. In the braking zone now of the bus stop, Barry Dunn along the outside takes a little bit too much of the outside. And that Audi is going to be moving up ahead. However, a 30-second time penalty being handed out to the Audi of Thomas. So that is going to be super detrimental to their race, especially a 30-second time penalty. Coming into La Source, Jorens on the outside, going pretty wide. They're giving as much space as he can to the Ferrari. Maybe he's trying to see if he can get a better drag race out of the corner than the Ferrari. He can. Tali Dursix was able to take that spot away, but Jorens with a better exit coming into Radion and El Rouge now. Able to stay ahead. Lucas did have the inside line there coming into turn 7, however, gave up in the braking zone and gave that position back to that Ferrari. Nice little gaggle of cars here coming into turn 10 into Brussels. Oh, may have been some movement under braking there for Lucas, however, has to go wide. So we'll see if any space is giving them into No Name corner. Coming into No Name now. The Ferrari. Oh, one of the Ferraris. Yeah, that's the Ferrari of Emery. Emery not allowing the slower cars in front of him to stop him from his goal of reaching towards the top of the silver drivers. A little bit of a squirrely exit for the Honda in front of him. Is this going to allow the 296, who we're on board with, to catch up into the braking zone? Coming into turn 13, 14, and 15 at Campus along the inside. Is he granted space? He is granted a little bit of space, but it does look like the number 80 and Terry Dunn may not have been granted space and pushed out into the dirt there on Campus. May have been some contact there between Barry and Alnice, excuse me. 43 minutes, 50 seconds left in the race. A lot of bumping and bruising and happening. However, doesn't look like any too serious incidents have happened. We do have a 30-second time penalty, which does look like it may have been just like a compounding of multiple incidents. So normally you don't get 30 seconds for one penalty unless it's like an egregious penalty or something super crazy. However, I don't see anything on the steward list that would show a 30-second time penalty. However, we will be looking at that and letting the stewards handle that momentarily. However, moving up, Julian Reef still on the back bumper of Yuri now. Yuri in P5, Julian P6. They are in different classifications, so Julian is a pro. Yuri is classified as a amateur driver, a silver driver. However, there may be some promotions and demotions coming soon for some of these drivers, so this will most probably not stay the same in terms of classification for some of these drivers. Dario Vianello for Sim Racing Team, the number 69 Ferrari we are on board with right now. Trying to make a move on the rookie in front of him. That is a number 190 McLaren. Getting a nice little shot on the inside. Now, something that we've also have mentioned in GT Americas, but probably not so much in GT Europe, drivers for our leagues do have a mandatory pit stop that they are required to take. Mandatory pit stop is always determined on the race length, so it'll always be 1/3 of the race length. Mandatory fuel is required. Tires are not, so drivers are allowed to choose whichever tires they like. A nice move being made on the inside by the BSR Ferrari. However, may have been a little bit too much of a cheeky move on the inside there, because they went off. It looked like they went off track to do an overtake there. Marcel did not have to give space if the car was not side by side coming into that turn there. However, moves being made by the BSR Ferrari, getting a little bit squirrely in the middle of the bus stop, trying to squeeze Martin as much as possible, trying to take that spot away. However, Martin still stays in front. Nice little heli cam for you there. And a nice view of some of these turns. Speaking of pit window, the official pit window is now open. So drivers are allowed to go into the pits and finish their official qualifying pit stop. Their official mandatory pit stop, excuse me. Everyone has one mandatory pit stop. Fuel is required. Tires are not required. Andrea making a move with that Ford Mustang on the inside, not letting James take that position back. However, also having to double defend. James on the inside. Is there another Ferrari sneaking in? It is. That's the Ferrari of Michael Hutchinson trying to sneak in there and trying to take that position away from the Ford Mustang. However, the Ford Mustang making itself as wide as possible, not allowing Michael to get in there. On board now, Robert Logan with some damage there on the front end of that Honda. It's a little bit of flapping in the wind. That hood is a little bit. So that is going to be affecting their top speed. Doesn't look like there's any damage to the splitter, so that may be honestly just be cosmetic. However, Robert would know way more about that than I do, because he is driving the vehicle right now, and I am not. So our poll is still ongoing here in the YouTube chat. Don't be afraid to let your voice be heard. Is Spa-Francorchamps an overrated track? Yes or no? 40% of you say yes, 60% say no. It's the exact same as yesterday right now. However, there is still time to get your vote in for the poll there. A couple of moves being made as well. Drew Burovkovsky moving down a spot to Tim Sepp. Lucas Kupka was right on the back bumper of Alnis. However, did have a squirrely exit, so the Audi's able to stay ahead. However, less than half a second between both vehicles, so that's going to allow any small mistake that the Audi makes in front of Lucas here is going to be a big win for Lucas. Drivers now entering the pits to take their pit stop. A decent amount of drivers now. 3, 6, at least 10 drivers by my count inside of the pits now, getting their mandatory fuel, fixing up any damages that their cars have, and maybe tires. Tires are optional. However, Spa is known for medium degradation depending on how you drive your car. So for an hour, I don't really expect the drivers to change their tires. However, if they feel like they're going to need it, they're definitely going to take it. Michael Hutchinson coming now out of La Source on the back bumper of the Ford Mustang of Andrea Martiri still. You can see a couple cars leaving the pits on the right side of our screen, now the left side of our screen. And we are going to start seeing things start dying down relatively quickly in terms of battling for positions. There may be a couple of battles that'll happen inside of the pits. However, we'll bring those battles to you as soon as they leave the pits, as soon as they leave the pit lane. Keeping an eye on the rest of the battle still going on here on track. Andrea Martiri in P8, the number 316 Ford Mustang driven by the Italian driver in front of Michael Hutchinson, who is right there in that 322 white Ferrari, who's almost glued to the back bumper there coming out of the source. Speaking of back bumper, a little tap on the back bumper there given by Lucas to the Ferrari. It did look like Lucas was trying to make a move to come to the inside of the pits, and the Ferrari might have just been caught up in a little bit of the action there. Coming into the braking zone of the bus stop, Marcus Craven in P22, moving up a couple spots, now into P20. But Roy Reiner right behind him, not allowing him any breathing room. The Lamborghini screaming right behind him, the 111 Lamborghini, excuse me to be exact. Side by side, bumper to bumper. The Audi unfortunately getting beaten by the Ferrari there. That's the Ferrari of Barry Dunn. Barry keeping his position on this, still on the back bumper, fighting for position, fighting for track position. Coming into turn 10. Oh, Barry Dunn goes a little too far wide. Is the number 800 Audi able to capitalize? Excuse me, the 800 Audi. No, the 837 Ferrari still stays in front. That gray, dark gray silver Ferrari just keeping out in front of the Audi. Audi in the V10 just screaming as loud and as high pitched as it can, trying to scare the Ferrari, even making it unfortunately break a little bit too deep into the zone there. However, Barry Dunn piloting the Ferrari very nicely, keeping it on the track as much as possible and trying to stay in front and keeping it in front of the Audi. Who wants it more? Coming into the braking zone of the bus stop. Tim Seb with the dive on the inside, and the move is complete. Tim Seb diving from a little bit farther back, however, a pretty legal dive in my opinion. The number 369 Ferrari now taking the P11 spot away from Andy Purcell, but Andy can make a move on the inside here. Is Andy going to make it? Tit for tat, Andy Purcell making a move on the inside. However, Tim Seb not allowing that move to stick, squeezing Andy into the inside of La Source and keeping the top speed higher, so that allows Tim to stay out in front to P5 for Tim. Speaking of Tim, squirrely exit there for both Ferraris. Tim going unfortunately wider, but maybe that's going to allow him to keep his top speed there, because that does keep him in front by a sizable margin. That actually pushed him. They were almost like less than half a second, or excuse me, less than a 0.1 second away from each other. Now 0.3 seconds, so that might have pushed him a little bit too far, farther wide. Was that a track warning or track cut? I don't know. That's going to be very interesting to find out if that was a track warning, because that was pretty wide. minutes, 50 seconds left in the pit window, 30 minutes, 45 seconds left in the race. We do have a small segment here at Odyssey Racing League that I like to call granny shifters and double clutchers. We're going to wait a little bit until towards the end of the pit window to look more into that and play our favorite little game here at granny shifters and double clutchers, and be handing out those awards momentarily. However, still on board with the number 369 Ferrari in Tim Seb. A little bit of a distance created between him and the Audi and Andy Purcell. Andy now 2 seconds behind. Tim 4.5 seconds behind P4 in Victor S. Victoras, number 303 Porsche, in the lead for the rookies. However, they still have not elected to take their pit stop. I do sit corrected there on the left side of our screen. We can barely see it. That is the number 369 Porsche inside of the pit lane, taking their official pit stop. Jorens fighting Thomas Hudak. Thomas in the blue Audi in front. Jorens in the AMG right there, the gray and red AMG for DRS Academy. Coming up turns 2 and 3. 2, 3, and 4, known as El Rouge and Radion. Now coming onto the Kimmel Straight is the AMG, able to outpower the Audi. It does look like it, the AMG with its screaming naturally aspirated power. Coming into the braking zone of turn 7, is he able to make it stick? Ow, he almost was kind of trying to go around the outside. Is the AMG now able to take the inside of this turn? He does. Both cars squirrely coming into the exit. A blue flag also being handed out, so it's going to be a blue flag, I believe, for the Lamborghini. So the Lamborghini is going to be allowed past. However, oh no, not in between the battle Lamborghini. Oh no, I think that's the Lamborghini of Neil Baravotes. No, Neil is on the other side, excuse me. So speaking of Neil, the number 35, P35, number 185 Lamborghini right on the back bumper of Paul Dickinson. Paul trying to make a defensive move, trying to get a little bit off the racing line to push that Lamborghini into the corner more. However, the Lamborghini with a very nice move made in the braking zone. In the braking zone, Neil able to take that spot away. However, a back bump. Yeah, it might have been a little kiss on the back there from Paul Dickinson coming out of turn 8 there. Might have just been a little bit too much to handle and gave him a little back bump. We do see the number 829 off the track being handed a yellow flag. That's the number 829 driven by Tally Deersix, excuse me. We did have a couple of cars have to retire, unfortunately. I believe that is the car of Robert Logan. Yes, unfortunately, Robert Logan having to retire. Very sad to see you go, Robert, but thank you for joining us. You're always welcome here on track. Please get well soon. I believe it's a injury that is having to have him retire. We are going to start seeing a lot more blue flags now in this part of the race. 26 minutes, 40 seconds left. That leaves us with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in the official pit window. The number 551 Ferrari trying to make up some spots. Trying to fight the SRC McLaren in front of him, driven by Martin Balasek. Both cars getting a really good exit out of turn 16 there. May have been a little bit of moving under braking. However, James Seal elected to take the outside of the first part of the turn, giving a little bit of the flashies to Martin in front of him, letting him know he's not very happy about what happened there in that sequence of events. All I know is if ACC had a horn, all the drivers would be using the horn constantly instead of doing the little flashers to show how upset they are trying to communicate with the driver in front. You'll just hear the honking. I mean, we may hear that for AC Evo. Who knows? I don't remember hearing anything about AC Evo having a horn or any of the cars having a horn. James Seal crossing the pit exit line a little bit there, giving that white Ferrari a scare. Remember, leaving the pits, the cars leaving the pits do have right of way to their side of the track. There is a white solid line through the middle of that part of the Kimmel Straight, or the beginning of the Kimmel Straight there after turn 5, a little bit before turn 6, or considered turn 6. There is a solid white line that the drivers that are on valid laps have to stay on the left side of, and drivers leaving and exiting the pits have to stay on the right side of that line. If you cross that line for whatever reason and you cause an incident, penalties can and will most probably be handed out. A drive-through handed out for the number 422. That's Purcell. Yeah, Andy Purcell, the number 422, being handed a drive-through. That may have been her speeding in the pit lane. However, not speeding through the pit lane and speeding through the track. Dario Vianello trying to catch up to that Ford in front of him, driven by Andrea Martiri. I did say that the battles were going to be slowing down, and they didn't. They did the complete opposite. They're starting back up again. Andy Purcell now in the braking zone of the bus stop. Was trying to make a move, however, has to dive into the pits to complete that drive-through penalty. That does move a couple drivers up. Lucas Kupka trying to catch up to the battle between James and Martin here on our screen. These two dudes have been battling it out for the last couple of minutes, though. It looks like Cohen Krager was fighting with Adam Westland. However, there was some bumping and bruising between both those drivers coming out of the bus stop. Now Adam Westland was in front, now behind Cohen. Adam Westland P20, Cohen P19. We also see the Ferrari of Barry Dunn, and not too far off behind them there. So any small little mistake happening between both battling drivers, Barry Dunn can just come swoop in and take some free positions. Coming out of La Source, gaggle of cars now fighting for position. Jonathan forward, trying to catch up to Marcus Craven in front of him. Marcus in the number 196 Ferrari. Jonathan in the number 927 that is on there on our screen. There's a Mercedes AMG right behind him. Couple of other cars following as well. Adam Westland, oh, the Porsche of Cohen going super far wide and no name, almost hitting that wall. Adam Westland now on the inside was able to make a move stick. It didn't look like it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. So Adam Westland wasn't able to capitalize on the mistake by the Porsche in front of him, who's actually making a little bit more mistakes now as well, going a little bit far wide on a couple of turns. And it does look like Cohen might be driving with the rear view mirrors. Cohen should just not worry too much about the Ferrari behind him and let him go around, or let the Ferrari go around him, which is the whole point of racing. Barry Dunn smelling blood in the water, not allowing any of this fighting to go on without him, trying to catch up to Adam Westland as well. Adam Westland around the outside he goes, squeezing the Porsche a little bit there, making the move stick. Adam Westland now moving up into P19, moving Cohen back a little bit. Cohen giving a little bit of the flashing, saying he's not very happy about that move. And another move actually being made in the bus stop by Barry Dunn. Barry Dunn also taking that spot and capitalizing on the mistake by Cohen there. Barry Dunn now in P20, Cohen moving down to P21. Adam Westland now P19, but now having to defend against a Porsche and a Ferrari instead of just a Porsche. So our official pit time is over. Our pit window is closed. That means drivers that were not within the official pit window or the pit lane within the official timer are not allowed to complete their official pit stop. It does look like all the drivers have completed their pit stop though, because they are within the lane as soon as the timer ended. So you'll have to pass the point where it asks you to turn on your pit limiter. So as long as you pass that point before the timer ends, you are allowed, or the official pit time or official pit stop will be finished. It is allowed. If you do not pass the line before the timer ends, or if you do it before the timer even starts, like the pit window hasn't even opened, then you will not be allowed to finish your official pit stop, and that is a penalty towards the end of the race. We were keeping an eye on the leader of the rookies. That was, I believe that was the Lamborghini of Drew Barakovsky. However, since they were in the pit lane, they were overtaken by the leader of the rookies now. I believe that is going to be Fabian Sodki. Excuse me, not Fabian. I am so sorry, Sarkany. So Sarkany now in the lead for the rookies, a number 193 Porsche, a commanding lead for the rookies as well. That moves Drew Burakovsky into P3 for the rookies. However, having to fight for that P3 spot as well. Martin right behind him. The number 190 McLaren. Also Martin still fighting James Seal. James less than half a second behind Martin, and Martin less than half a second behind Drew here. So it's going to be a nice little gaggle of cars fighting for position here. Number 422 given a yellow flag for off-track shenanigans there. $16 minutes, 20 seconds left in this official race. James along the outside, going bumper to bumper with Martin now. Who wants it more, James or Martin? James on the inside, Martin on the outside, passing the start-finish straight of the F1 circuit. The number 551 Ferrari with a little nice switchback being made by the McLaren now. A defensive move being made by the number 551. Only one defensive move being made per attack and defend now, coming into Radion and El Rouge now. The McLaren trying to get a nice little speed boost by the Ferrari. Made it look like both of those cars went off track a little bit, and a little bit of the flashies there by Martin given to James. Martin not too happy about the defensive display being shown there by James. However, 15 minutes, 30 seconds left in this race. Still more than enough time to gain that position back. Speaking of 15 minutes left in this race, this is round 1 of season 15 Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. We do have an Americas division as well that runs on Thursdays. GT Europe runs here on Sundays. Just to show you all a little bit more about this as well. So we do have GT Americas after hours. That's Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. GT Europe, Sundays at 8 p.m. CEST. And GT Americas, Thursdays at 9 p.m. EST. For GT Americas and GT Europes, it is all rookies, amateurs, and pros, all of them on the same track at the same time. As well as 6 rounds for our 15th season here, Odyssey Racing League. Our first round here at Spa-Francorchamps, 14 minutes and 24 seconds left in this round. However, next week, round 2 will be at the beautiful and sunny Watkins Glen. It'll be a 45 minutes quick sprint race throughout one of my favorite tracks here on ACC. Hopefully one of your favorite tracks here as well. Back on board with Fabian Sodki, who is trying to catch up to Tim there. Tim in the Audi, in the white and blue Audi in front. Fabian in the orange and black Ferrari in the center of our screen here. Coming out of turn 17 and 18, Blanchimont, Jonathan forward, trying to make anything happen against Marcus Craven here. There is a smaller battle happening a couple spots back between Torsten Newman and Jorens. Torsten right on the back bumper of that Mercedes AMG with his Porsche 296. Why am I confusing all these numbers and letters? I am so sorry, racing fans. The Porsche 911, it's supposed to be the 991.2. However, I believe the game calls it the 992. I'm so sorry, Porsche fans. Porsche's probably the car I know least about, which is sad because it's such a nice looking car. Another Porsche on our screen. This is the light blue Porsche Bonus Charles, number 26 Porsche to be exact. Had an unfortunate tumble in the beginning of the race that threw them into the wall, and unfortunately it doesn't look like they had a big recovery drive in front of them, and it does look like they're just continuing, just putting their head down and finishing the race. There's nothing wrong with that. We did have, I believe, 47 drivers who start the grid. Right now, 40 drivers are left on the grid, so we did have 7 retirees. 12 minutes left in the race, however. So 12 more minutes of non-stop action, especially between both of these drivers, Drew Burakovsky and James Seal. Both drivers battling it out all day here at Spa-Francorchamps. Not with each other, but sometimes with each other and with others. Oh, it looks like a Lamborghini spun around, and that is the Lamborghini of Burakovsky. I unfortunately looked away. So let's see if we can figure out what happened to Drew here. This is the number 678. Let's get a quick replay of that. Was there bumping and contacting into turn 1? It may have looked like it. Coming into turn 1 now, the Lamborghini of Drew going around the outside. We do see the Ferrari right behind him. Is there bumping? It doesn't look like it. May have been. Yes. So in the middle of the corner, unfortunately, it does look like the Lamborghini of Drew slows down a little bit too much, and the car behind him just doesn't realize that the Lamborghini is slowing down and just eats the back bumper. So that unfortunately spins Drew at turn 1 into La Source there. That's going to be losing him a couple amount of spots as well. So that puts him down into P16. James Seal, P13 now. Our YouTube poll still going on now. 38 votes total. You too can add your vote onto this. Is Spa-Francorchamps an overrated track? 37% say yes. 63% say no. Coming into the bus stop, Tim Seb. Michael Hutchison going a little bit too far wide, trying to regain or rejoin the track, however, has to give that spot up to Tim Seb. Now Tim in P8, capitalizing on the mistake that Michael Hutchinson made into the braking zone of the bus stop there, and just running away with that P8 spot now. We'll see if Michael can catch right back up to Tim. Now, speaking of Spa being overrated, so Spa is a heavily used track in the sense that a lot of people love racing here. This is a very popular track here at Spa-Francorchamps. IMSA runs here, WEC runs here, so World Endurance Champion WEC runs here, F1 runs here, all the Fs, F1, F2, F3, F4, Super Formula, I believe. No, not Super Formula. What's that other one? I think it's Spec Ford. I think that's what it's Spec Ford, SPC, SC. I believe they also run here, and they do like a not that long of a race, right? But I also do believe they run here as well. James Seal still fighting for positions more and more on the inside now, taking away that spot from Andrea Martini, who's in that red and yellow Ford Mustang. And the blue, or is that teal? Is that aquamarine? Someone needs to help me out here with colors. My American education does not help me with colors. I believe that's teal. So I'm going to say teal. If I'm wrong, please let me know. The teal and gold Audi. Excuse me, of Alnis. Yeah, please let me know if this is teal or aquamarine. I am terrible at colors. But the Audi not allowing James to get too far away from him. Couple of time penalties still on the board for a couple of drivers. Since there is no more pit stop, drivers do not have to take a pit stop to complete their penalties, and they can just tack on that penalty towards the end of the race. So whatever time they finish with, they will add on that time penalty. So in this case for James, the number 551 Ferrari, 15 seconds will be added to his time at the end of the race, and the number 190 will have 5 seconds of time added. Oh yes, we actually forgot about one of my favorite segments. So we do have a segment here at Odyssey Racing League that I like to do that is called Granny Shifters and Double Clutchers. So the award for Granny Shifter, unfortunately, will be going to a Mr. Bonus Charles, unfortunately losing 26 spots in the race. Right now, Bonus in P37, started in P11. That was not entirely his fault. There was a major incident at the beginning of the race that Bonus was involved in. So unfortunately, he will be given the Granny Shifting Award for today here at Spa-Francorchamps. For the Double Clutch Award, the Double Clutch Award is handed to the driver that has gained the most spots today. The Granny Shifter is to the driver that has lost the most spots today. So unfortunately, Bonus Charles with the Granny Shifting Award. With the Double Clutching Award, with 5 minutes and 36 seconds left in the race, that's going to be going to Alnis Karius. 29 spots gained here at Spa-Francorchamps. The number 800 Audi started P41, now in P12. Some honorable mentions as well for double clutchers. Lucas Kupka up 26 spots this race. The number 969 Honda started in P46, now in P20. Barry Dunn making a move on the inside. We were going to be talking a little bit about the leader, Gabriel Ozachir, and their fastest time on track, 217.437 for Gabriel. However, there was a battle brewing between a bunch of these drivers here, especially coming to the bus stop. Matzes trying to defend against Adam Westland, though, except Adam had the inside line, so Adam's going to be taking that P16 spot away from Matzes. However, back there into the bus stop, Barry Dunn still defending against Andrea, who is coming up from a unfortunate accident there. We can see a big gash in the front there for the front bumper and the front splitter on the Ford Mustang, which is going to be destroying the top end speed of that car. Going side by side into Radion. Is this going to be very nice? Going up Radion in El Rouge. Oh, What a sequence of events by all these drivers now. Martin trying to get a better slipstream out of the Ferrari. The Ferrari defending for his life. The BMW of Mastas still behind them, trying to figure out what is going on in the battle to take any position and bite as much of that track position as they can away from the fighting drivers there. Martin unfortunately going wide off the track there, maybe having to give that spot away from the BMW. However, Martin still staying in front of Mastas now, but Mastas half a second now from Martin. Martin half a second away from Adam Weston. Adam Weston, a little bit of breathing room for the Baller Squad racing car coming into No Name now, because the car behind him in Martin is now having to not only attack him, but he's now going to have to defend against Matsius, excuse me. Tim Seb smells blood in the water. The Porsche in front of him bleeding a little bit. That's Sarkany. That's the leader of the rookies there, putting on a commanding presence and performance for the rookie drivers. Number 193 Porsche fighting for position for Tim Seb. Two minutes, 30 seconds left in the race. Let's see where our leader is. Our leader is coming out of turn 12 right now. So I do believe that there's going to be one more lap after this for the leader. A couple of other moves being made. It does look like maybe more contact between Andrea. We do see him given a flag that shows that they did go off the track. Andy Purcell, though, for Fitted UK SimSport on the back bumper of that fully blue Audi. That blue Audi is driven by Thomas Hudak in front of him, the 214 Audi to be exact. Both drivers battling it to the bitter end here. 1 minute 45 seconds left in our official race time here at Odyssey Racing League Season 15 Round 1. Andy Purcell still on the back bumper. Where did you get your bumper glue from, Mr. Purcell? I need to know. And with that, we do see on the bottom right of our screen, the leader is on their final lap. So that is the white flag for the leader. 1 lap to go. We'll be keeping an eye on the leader to see when they do cross the finish line. That is Gabriel Altachir as of right now. There is an 8-second gap between Gabriel and a P2, who's Regis Corsell. Regis, fastest time 217.447. Gabriel, fastest time 217.492. Fastest time being given to Gabriel because I believe that was a valid time. Regis's time is not valid. Regis, however, still having to defend against other drivers. Tim right almost on the back bumper of Regis. And Fabian on the back bumper of Tim. So Tim is going to have to defend really until the very bitter end. Tim Flake to be exact. Fabian Sotke in the orange and black Ferrari here for Daibon Motorsports. Great showing today. Daibon Motorsports, I believe, a newer team here at Odyssey Racing League. So very happy to see you here in racing and joining us on the grid. We do hope to see you for the rest of the season as well. But racing fans, it is almost that time. That is big fat zeros across the racing clock there at the top of our screen, which means the official race time is over. So as soon as the leader crosses the finish line, the race is over. The rest of the drivers will have to finish their lap, and whatever position they are in is the position they are in. However, battles are still happening between the rest of the drivers. Barry Dunn moving up a spot through the Lasaurus against Matsas Groski. Tim Seb still on the back bumper as well, but we do see the leader coming through the bus stop chicane, and the number 78 Ferrari, who's been in the lead for the last half of the race, Gabriel Ozichir for Baller Squad Racing, takes the checkered flag and the win here for round 1 Odyssey Racing League season 15 for the pros. Congratulations to Gabriel. In P2 for the pros, Regis Corcel crossing the checkered flag. P3 goes to Tim Flagg for the pros as well. In P4, right behind them, Fabian Sadki. P5, Julian Rafe, the number 811 Porsche, crossing the finish line now and cementing his spot in P5. In P6, we do have Tim Seb, the number 369 Ferrari, who was able to complete that move against the rookie driver, then the number 193 Porsche, except the number 193 Porsche, who's also coming into the bus stop chicane, is the leader. And as they cross the finish line and they take the checkered flag as the winner for the rookie division here at Odyssey Racing League Season 15 Round 1. Congratulations to Sarkany, who wins P1 for the rookies, P7 overall. Michael Hutchison crossing the line, P8, followed by Dario Villanego for SRT Sim Racing Team in P9. Alnis coming through the bus stop, the number 800 Audi, the silver amateur driver, taking the checkered flag and the win for the silver drivers, the silver/amateur drivers. So congratulations to the number 800 Audi on the win for the amateurs. In P2, crossing the finish line for the rookies, the number 303 Porsche and Victoras I'm gonna say it. Pudokiskats. Message me in the chat. I'm so sorry if I get your name wrong. But you are the P2 winner for the rookies. Congratulations. James Seal coming in at P3 for the rookies, but with that 15-second time penalty, that is most probably gonna be the spot given to Drew Barakovsky in P3 for the rookies. Barry Dunn crossing the finish line in P2 for the silver drivers. That's the 837 Ferrari. And for P4, actually still on the track right now and just crossed the finish line. Unfortunately, battle damaged and battle scarred, but with a P3 victory here for the rookies. So congratulations to Andrea Martire for the P3 victory for rookies. A couple cars still on the track finishing up their laps. Number 829 crossing the finish line, and that is last but not least Tali Dersix finishing and crossing the line. And that is the end of Season 15, Round 1 here at Odyssey Racing League. GT Europe, Season 15, Round 1. Congratulations to the winners. Just as a quick reminder, folks, our poll has ended, and we do have 64% of the votes that say no, 35% of the votes that say yes. Is Spa-Francorchamps an overrated track? So you, the viewers, have decided it is not an overrated track. If you would like to see more racing action here at Odyssey Racing League, keep it locked in here on our YouTube, youtube.com/Odyssey Racing League. Here for GT Americas on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. GT Europe, Sundays at 8 p.m. CEST. Or GT Americas After Hours on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We do have 6 rounds for Season 15. We just concluded Round 1 here at Odyssey Racing League Spa-Francorchamps. So all of the leagues had 1 hour race. Now, next week, we have Round 2 at the beautiful and sunny Watkins Glen, which is one of my favorite tracks here at Assetto Corsa Competizione. 45-minute sprint race for all the racers. A little bit of a smaller track, so it's going to be a lot more action-packed and hectic. Thank you so much for joining me today for Season 15, Round 1 of Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. My name is Christian Julian. I also go by Koju here. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is. On behalf of Odyssey Racing League and myself, again, thank you so much for joining. Have a great rest of your day.
One night to find the answer. Talk to me. What makes this heart beat faster? What makes this heart beat faster?
Eight rounds in the 45 and go down. 8 rounds in the 45 and go down. Yeah. 8 rounds in the 45 and go down. 8 rounds in the 45 and go down. Yeah. Look, I was passing aggression, passive aggressiveness. I left him hanging like loose ties as loose ties. Either not, he begging to go or not. Depends on the situation. He going up like inflation. Fuck all the haters that said that he couldn't make it. My brother drowned in the lake. How could